Hi, I'm Donna. Today's class, nice easeful class for your shoulders and your neck. And really useful if you could grab a chair and 2 blankets and join me on the mat. So we're going to start lying down. Because there isn't really a position as good as this one for just tuning in to how your spine and your neck spine are feeling this morning or this evening, if that's when you're practicing. Just falling into the floor. Your feet are hip width parallel, legs parallel. Good. And just rolling on the back of the head, turn your head to the left side. Don't push, you're just noticing how your neck feels. Come back up to center. And rolling, you're turning your head to the right side. So we're not pushing, we're just finding the feeling that arises. Good, keep going, turning to the left. Coming up to center, turning to the right. You'll notice that you're making an arc shape or a curve. Come back up to center. Okay, so what you're going to do is just slightly lift your head off the floor and turn as though you could lay down on your left ear and then just relax. So don't turn so far that it hurts your neck, just relax in that head turned position. Letting go in your shoulders, your neck. Good, and so gently lifting your head off the floor or just off the floor so you can come back to center. Good, and then lift your head just off the floor so you can turn as though to put your right ear onto the floor. You might not go that far, just where it's comfortable for your neck. But let yourself be heavy, shoulders, neck, head. Good, and then back to center. Just relaxing again. I'm going to take the arms gently overhead. They can be a little bent, not touching your elbows or your wrists. Just let your arms be relaxed. You can let your legs out too straight. If that's a little too strong in your lower back, keep them bent. And if it feels fine, just stretching your arms all the way out straight. Palms facing, stretch out through fingers. Keep the shoulder blades wide. Feel that space between the shoulder blades, just touching the floor. Good. And then bring your arms in, your feet in, and we'll roll carefully to the right side and come into a kneeling position towards the back of your mat, facing your chair. Take your knees out wide, big toes touching, and settle your hips back as far as feels good for your hips, your knees. Forward Virasana. Feel again that space between your shoulder blades, broad. Let the armpits lengthen a little towards the floor. Feel the breath in your lungs, your ribs, and the movement in your torso with each breath. The feeling of expansion and the feeling of letting go. Good, and then come up onto your knees and have them hip width and your lower legs parallel, and walk your hands further in front. We're going to start to lower the chest towards the floor. Keep the collarbones wide. And again, feeling that space between the shoulder blades. Just letting the weight of your body sink towards the floor. And again, feeling the expansion of your ribs. The feeling of letting go of each breath. Good, and then come up into an all fours position. So put your wrists under your shoulders if that feels okay for your wrists, otherwise a little bit further forward. Wide even spaces for your fingers. Press the fingerprints, the base of your index fingers. And just for the traditional cat stretch, we're going to try and arch the lower back, the middle back, all the way up to the ceiling. Let your head just fall forward, and then lower back sinks down. Let the chest broaden, lift the breastbone, look up. Good, and then as you exhale, so we're doing this really nice and slowly, lower back lifts, middle back lifts, chin to the chest. Great. Come into a neutral position for your spine. So in other words, find all the way along your spine a sense of ease, of lengthening, so you don't feel compressed there. Good, and now you're going to let your lower back just sink down. So it might feel like there's a little bit of compression. So don't overdo it, but just sink as much as you can in your lower back. And you're going to lift up between your shoulder blades and then let your head hang down. So press into your hands. Try to keep the weight in the fingertips, or the fingerprints, I should say. But let the head be nice and heavy. Really press up between the shoulder blades. Good. Now lift your head, lift your lower back a little, use your front core to lift and support. And we're going to try and make a cat stretch that's just in this part of your back. A kitten stretch, just a little cat stretch. Okay, so just between the shoulder blades, try and move that part of your spine up and down. So your front core is lifting to support your back core while you do this. It might feel a little frustrating, like you can't really get much movement there. We just want to wake up that part of the spine between the shoulder blades. Good. Just let the neck follow so that you feel comfortable in the back of the neck. Good. And then we're going to come up into downward facing dog pose. Tuck your toes under and let your head just hang down. You're going to nod your head so your neck is nice and relaxed. We'll wake up the legs a little, so pressing one heel down to the floor, bending the opposite knee, pressing side to side. Good. And all the while, keep your collarbones wide, your shoulder blades wide. Good. Keep the weight forward into the base of your fingers. We're going to let the hips just swing a little bit from side to side. Keep reaching the top of the head down towards the floor. So the back of the neck feels really long and it's not doing any work. So just check that that's the case. You can nod your head, you can turn a little bit, your head from side to side. So hips are swinging from side to side. Good, and coming back to center, press your heels. Open the chest towards the legs, relax your neck. Good, and then knees come down to the floor. You're going to take a rest in child's pose. Take your hands back beside you or loosely stacked under your forehead if that feels better. Your hips as close to your feet as your knees allow. But letting go. Let go of tension in your shoulders, your neck. Good, and then bring your elbows in front of your knees. So you're going to touch your elbows into your knees. Good, and you're going to just see how your body feels with this. You're going to lift right up onto your right hand, so your right arm is straight. Turn your upper body. You're going to turn gently to look over your right shoulder. And then we bring the elbow back down to the knee. Lift up onto your left hand. Turn your upper body looking over the left shoulder. Good. So that might be enough. Or you can try lifting your right hand now. Turn your upper body to the right and you're going to lift up your hand towards the ceiling. Look up at your thumb. Good. And as you exhale, elbow back to the knee. Good. And second side, we lift right up onto the left hand, or lift the left hand right up off the floor, turning your upper body looking up to your thumb. Good. And as you exhale, release the left elbow to the left knee. You can try again. So remember, you don't have to take the hand off the floor if it feels a little too strong. Otherwise, you're lifting and looking up. Left arm lifts. And release. Good. Stretch your arms right out in front so they're straight. So you're in forward Virasana. And then gently walking your hands to the right. Reach your left hand as far as you can. So you feel the stretch in the left side of your waist, your ribs, your shoulder blade. But keep your neck really relaxed here. So you're just keeping your left ear near to your left upper arm. Good. And then walking your hands back to center. And then all the way around to the left side. So we keep the hips as close to your heels as your knees allow. Reach your right hand as far as you can, but you're going to keep your right ear gently against your right upper arm, so your neck is relaxed here. But let the right waist stretch, the right ribs, and the right armpit. Let the torso relax into the position. Good. And then back to center. Great. You're going to look forward at your hands. Let your elbows out wide. Bring your chest and your belly along the floor, onto the floor. You're going to press into your hands, lift the breastbone. So your legs are parallel behind you. We're going to lift the breastbone, but keep the elbows right in and keep them reaching back towards your hips. So the shoulders are reaching back and the neck is reaching forward. Keep the back of the neck long. Good. We're going to tuck the chin into the chest. Good. Lower down so you reach the breastbone forward. And then inhale. Press into your hands. Good. Keep the chin into the chest so the back of the neck is long. So the breastbone's lifting, the shoulder blades are reaching back, the elbows are reaching back. Good. And then reach the breastbone forward as you come back down. And one more. Inhale. Lifting, reach the elbows back, reach the breastbone forward, keep the back of the neck long. Good. And then we're going to lay down. Take your arms back beside you. Turn your face to one cheek. And thoroughly relax your shoulders. Thoroughly relax your neck, your lower back. Second side. So lift your head, turn to the second side. Letting go nice and wide across your shoulder blades. Good. And then you're going to bring your hands up, and this is where the chair's going to come in handy. So if you're tight in your neck and shoulders, it might be too much to put your hands up onto the seat of the chair. So you can just use the legs. So what you do is figure out what you need. And if you're going to lay on your belly, what you want to do is reach your arms up as high as you can and let your neck hang down to the floor. So some people are going to find their hands up onto the seat of the chair. Maybe your forehead doesn't reach the floor. Okay, so We don't want to overdo it, but you want to feel a really nice stretch. Let the shoulder blades widen and the back of the neck lengthen. Good, nice and soft across the sacrum as you're relaxed there. Just letting the armpits lengthen. Good, and then releasing, and we're going to press up. Good, walk your knees forward a little. Now, my chair's really hard, so I'm going to put a blanket over the seat because I'm going to put my elbows up there. And it looks like this. You kneel in close enough so it's comfortable to bring your hands into prayer position, elbows on the front edge of the chair. But then you start to walk your knees back, and you just go back as far as you're able to manage without really compressing your lower back. So use your front core to support, and you might be able to rest your forehead onto the chair. Maybe some people's head goes beyond the chair. But we'll keep the back of the neck long. So don't let your head just hang down if it's reaching beyond the seat of the chair. Good, so the front lower core is lifting, so the belly's lifting to support your lower back. But we're going to let the chest widen, the armpits relax, the space between the shoulder blades widen. Enjoy the expansion of your lungs here and the letting go of each breath. Good, and then to come out of the posture, just walk your knees in. Good. And we're going to come all the way up to standing. So if you walk your knees all the way into the chair, you can tuck your toes under and lift up from there. Lifting the arms, looking up. Good. And as you exhale, Tadasana. And there's nothing like shoulder rolls for tight neck and shoulders. So just take your shoulders up towards your ears and back. I'm going to make nice big circles. And you can do the forward, but we tend to do that forward motion so much in our daily life. So I like to do up and back a little bit more. Good. Your chair's there, so let's use it. Inhale, arms up. And as you exhale, you're going to bend your knees and find your chair. If you need to walk in, you can. Good. We're going to have the feet under the hips and parallel, and the legs are parallel. And letting your chest widen, your armpits lengthen. Good. See if you can lift that skin between the shoulder blades up to the ceiling, arching all the way up, and then arching the shoulder blades down towards the floor and arching all the way up and all the way down. Good. Nod your head. So the back of the neck is long. Just see that you can turn it with ease. Draw the shoulder blades back. Good, and then bend your knees and just walk forward towards your chair. And roll all the way up. Bring your arms up. Look up. Good, and as you exhale, Tadasana. Shoulder rolls, take the shoulders up to the ears, roll the shoulder blades down. Take the shoulders up to the ears, roll the shoulder blades down. Good. And this time we're going to do Uttanasana with the head supported onto the chair. So we're going to inhale, look up, and as you exhale, I'm going to find the chair And you can decide, either you can put your blanket up over the back of the chair to support your head there, or onto the seat of the chair, wherever it reaches easily for you. And put your arms so they're very relaxed. So you can just let your shoulders be wide, collarbones wide. So don't squash don't let the weight of your shoulders squash into your neck. If your hamstrings feel really tight, you can bend your legs, and we want to try and get the lower back arch to dip down a little, and that space between your shoulder blades to feel really relaxed. If your legs are straight, lift your kneecaps, your quadriceps, your sit bones. Keep relaxing your back. If the main thing you feel is the tightness in your legs, bend your knees a little bit. You want to really tune into relaxing your back, and particularly between your shoulder blades. Keep the back of the neck long. Good, and then bend your knees and inhale and roll up. And arms up and look up. Good, little back bend between the shoulder blades. Lift the front of the legs, lift the front of the hips. And as you exhale, Tadasana. Lift your shoulders, roll your shoulder blades down, lift your shoulders, roll your shoulder blades down. Good. Now we're going to get you don't need your chair, you can just step back. We're going to take the arms up, look up, Urdhva Hastasana. Lift the front of the legs when you do that. Good. As you exhale, bend your knees. We're going to reach forward. Now you might be holding onto your knees here. You might be able to reach further down. Hold your ankles or hold the floor. Good. And we're going to take the left hand and reach to the outside of your right leg. So if you're up here, you're reaching out to the calf or shin, or you're reaching to your ankle. You're going to put your right hand onto your sacrum and turn your torso, but we're keeping both sides of the neck nice and long. Turn your torso, turn your torso. You might be able to have straight legs, lift your kneecaps. You might be able to take your right arm up and look up. Good, and then release. Good. Come back to center, wherever you're holding your forward bend. Nod your head. Keep your shoulder blades wide, keep the collarbones wide. And now right hand to the outside of the left leg. So wherever you're able to reach to. Good, left hand onto your sacrum. And we're going to turn the ribs, turn your heart to the left side. Good, just let the neck lengthen and turn gently, not pushing, not forcing. And if you can take your left arm straight up, do that as well. Reaching, reaching. Lift your kneecaps so if your legs are straight, otherwise keep them bent. Good, and then releasing. Good, and come back to center. Just let your upper body hang down. Nod your head. Relax your neck. Good, and then bend your knees and inhale and come up. Good, and as you exhale, Tadasana. Great. You're going to bring your hands into prayer position behind you. So you might be able to get the top joints together, see if you can get a little bit more of the hands together. And if that's really not going to work, uncomfortable for you, just to hold on to your forearms or your elbows. Good. We want to take the left leg back, right leg forward, so that you can have both feet firmly on the floor and your feet about hip width distance apart from side to side. So if they're crossed over, it's much more wobbly. So find your balance. Good, and get your legs nice and straight. Feel how strong they are. Lift the front of the thighs. Good, lift the belly, lift the breastbone. You're making a little back bend over your hands, over your arms. You're looking up. Good, and as you exhale, we're going to reach the breastbone forward. Finding that point where your legs are at their biggest stretch and before your back starts to arch up to the ceiling. So keep your hands or your arms against your spine. Keep reaching the spine forward. Find your point of stretch. Back of the neck is long. Good. We're going to look forward and lift the breastbone a little more, lengthen the belly. Keep the legs really strong, lift the kneecaps, and see if there's a little bit more reach without compromising the shape of your spine. Breathe deeply, feel the expansion of your lungs. If you were really wobbly on your balance here, you could always release your hands and hold on to your chair. But we're trying to help that little back bend if you can. Good. And then as you inhale, lifting up, looking up. Good. And step your left foot forward with your right and your right foot back. Good. Find both feet firmly on the floor. Good. Lift your kneecaps. Where your hands are at your back, lift your ribs. Lift your breastbone. Draw the shoulder blades down. Back of the neck is long. And as you exhale, we're going to lift the kneecaps, lift the quadriceps. Reaching your torso forward. You find your point of good stretch in your legs before you start to lose that nice shape of the spine. So you don't want to make a rainbow shape. Keep the belly long. Keep the chest long. Keep the spine reaching forward. Good. So find your maximum, wherever that might be. Good. And then look up. Lift the breastbone, lift the belly, and see if you can reach just a little more without compromising the shape of your spine. Keep the back of the neck long. Keep breathing. Lift your kneecaps. Good. And then lifting your breastbone. Lift all the way up. Look up. Good. Release your hands. Ooh, step your feet hip width distance. Turn your hands all the way out. Draw your shoulder blades down. Lift the front of the knees. Lift the front of the thighs. The front of the hips. Lift the breastbone. Good. And then just keep the upper arms rolling out, but just turn the hands in towards the sides of your legs. Breathe. Feel the expansion of your lungs. Good. And then we're going to bring the hands down onto the chair again and walk your feet back so that you're a straight line from your wrists through your shoulders to your hips. And your sit bones are positioned over your heels. Your feet are about hip width distance apart. Lift your kneecaps. Lift your quadriceps. Lengthen the sides of your waist. Make space between your shoulder blades. Oh, enjoying each breath. Good, and then bend your knees and walking in towards your chair. We're going to stand with feet together this time. Roll all the way up, arms up, making a back bend. Feel that back bend in your upper back. So lift the front of the legs, lift the hips, lift the breastbone. Good, and as you exhale, Tadasana. Great. We're going to bring the right arm, maybe I'll turn to so you can see. We're going to bring the right arm over the left arm. Good. And you might be able to hold on to your thumb. Maybe you can get the fingers or the palms near to each other. Good. And If that feels a little too strong in your shoulders, just embrace your shoulders. Good. But take your upper arms off your chest, just enough so you can take a really nice deep breath. Good. And notice if you really hunched your shoulder blades up, so you're squashing the back of the neck. We want to see if we can get the shoulder blades to reach down. So you feel a wider space between your shoulder blades and freedom for your neck. Good. And then bend your knees and sit your bottom back rather than your knees forward. So bottom back. Good. And you're going to lift up your left foot up onto your left tip toes. And you can keep them there for balance. Or you can try taking your toes off the floor and see how your balance goes. We want the pelvis to feel level to the floor. Squeeze the front core to support the back core. Lengthen the spine. Keep the shoulder blades reaching down. And keep the back of the neck feeling absolutely relaxed. Good. If you really have your balance, you can try taking your left thigh over your right thigh and tuck your foot in beside or behind your standing leg for Garudasana. Feel that space between the shoulders. Relax the neck. Oops. Having trouble today. Good. And then release. Release your arms. Just take a moment, standing with your feet together in Tadasana. Lift the front of the legs. Lift the breastbone. Sense what's going on in your shoulders, between them, back of your neck. Good. And then we'll go to the second side. So left upper arm over the right, holding your thumb or fingers into the palm, or just embracing your shoulders. Good. But keep your upper arms off your chest enough so you can really breathe here. And then notice, what do your shoulder blades automatically do? See if you can stretch them right down. So you want to feel really broad between the shoulder blades. Bend your knees a little, so sit your bottom back. Good. Use the front core to squeeze in and support the back core. Lengthen the spine, squeezing the pelvic floor. Lift up onto your right tiptoes, and you can keep them on the floor for balance. Really using your front core to support the back core. Good. Or you can try taking that foot all the way off the floor. You might even be able to cross the right thigh over the left. Tuck your foot in beside or behind the standing leg. Good. You can try lifting your elbows, but keep the shoulder blades drawing down. You want to keep feeling really spacious in the back of the neck. Keep breathing. Good, and then release. Your arms, your hands, Tadasana. Stand with the feet together here. Close your eyes, let yourself sway to center. Feel the balls of the feet broadly onto the floor, the whole ball of the heel. Equal weight, foot to foot. Lift the front of the legs, the front of the hips, the belly, the breastbone, the top of the head. And let the shoulder blades relax down. You want to sense that the skull is simply floating at the top of the spine. Good. Then opening your eyes. And you're going to sit down onto a blanket. Practice your sit to rise. So sitting without your hands, or use your wisdom and use your hands. Let's see. So we're going to take the legs out in front and put your left leg underneath your right leg. if you are stiff in your hips, the higher you sit, the easier this is going to be. So you could have 2 blankets. So you can pause the video if you need to do that. All right, we're trying to bring the left heel as close to the right hip as you can. And then we take the right foot over the outside of the left knee. So for some, this might be plenty of stretch, might feel strong in the hips. Good. If you can, take your right heel to the outside of the left hip. So if you press down onto your feet and lift up, you can get your knees a little closer. And really, we just want to be sitting up nice and tall so you feel even both sides of your spine. So sit up higher if you need to. Good. You're going to lift up your left arm and reach down behind your back. Use your right hand onto your left elbow to ease your elbow a little closer to your center line. So you're lengthening the left ribs, left shoulder blade, reach your left fingertips down behind you and lift your chin so the back of the neck is nice and long. You're not pushing your head forward. Good, and then release your right arm and reach behind you as far as you can, as though you could take hold of your fingertips. And I can't quite reach, so I'm going to hold on to my t-shirt. But I'm going to try and ease my shoulders closer to midline, keep the back of the neck nice and long. Good, lift the breastbone, keep breathing. Gomukhasana, cow face. Good, and then release. And just lean back so you can release your legs, and you might be able to flip them across so that you're in the second side. If that's a bit complicated, you can start with your feet out the front. Put your right foot under your left leg so the right heel comes to the outside of the left hip or in that direction, and as far as you can, take your right foot across to the outside of your right knee. So we don't want to be leaning to one side so the spine is uncomfortable. Find your center line, let the spine lift, use the front core to support. And if you can, take the heel to the outside of the hip. Good, sitting up as tall as you can. Good, then we're going to reach up with the right arm and reach down behind your head, between your shoulder blades. Good, use your left hand onto your right elbow. Ooh, to lengthen your right ribs, right shoulder blade. Good, but don't let your arms push your neck uncomfortably. So lengthen the back of the neck, lift the chin. Good, release your left hand, reach behind, rotate the shoulder forward. You're going to bend your elbow so you can hopefully get your fingers to touch. Oh, they meet on this side, might be different for you too. But we want to try and bring just hold on to your t-shirt if they don't reach. Bring the elbows into center. Keep lifting the chin a little. Lengthen the neck, draw the shoulder blades down, keep breathing. Find your calm center. Long spine, long neck. Good, and then release. And lean back. And release your legs. You can have your feet onto the floor. You can use your core a little. Ease your lower back forward. Squeeze your belly. Just keep the neck nice and relaxed. Good. And then release. Now 2 blankets. This is a real treat for your neck and your shoulders. Fold one so you get a long shape. And what you want is a little edge, and that edge is going to line up underneath your shoulder blades or in line with the base of your shoulder blades. And then another one for your head. Okay, so when you lay down, you can see where I'm putting the edge of the blanket under the shoulder blades. It kind of equates to where your heart is at the front. So that's right under there. If it feels a little too strong, maybe your blanket's too thick, You could just use a towel instead. It really is worth getting this right. I'm supporting the back of my neck and my head with the other blanket there. Yeah, I'm just going to use that much. But you can see my face is a little higher than my heart, higher than the hips. So, and then I'm going to let my spine just relax. The reason I folded the long blanket into a narrow shape is so that it fits as much as you can between your shoulder blades. So if you have a look at that again. You can pause the video to get this equipment right, because this would be a nice one to just lay in for, say, 30 breaths. I won't hold it for so long. But let's just settle onto that equipment and feel the front of the chest widen. That little coaxing of the equipment behind the thoracic spine, or that spine behind your lungs, into a slightly different shape. Neck relaxed. So I'm keeping my legs parallel, knees bent, but if it feels fine for you, kick my chair out of the way, you could have straight legs or legs in Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees out wide. So do the leg position that supports you the most. And let go. Just let yourself fall into the equipment. Good. And then to come off that equipment, you just bring your legs back to bent and gently rolling to your right side. So you just roll off and take that out from underneath you. Lay back down onto the floor. Since you've got the chair handy, we could try this nice relaxation. It's nice to do on the seat of the couch. You can just lie on the floor. So your neck should feel comfortable, and if you feel like you've got to reach your head back to the floor and it squashes the back of the neck, put one of the blankets in under your head and your neck. Otherwise, just flat on the floor. It's really nice to feel again the curves of the spine, that upward arch of your lower back, the meeting of your thoracic spine against the floor, the upward arch of your neck spine. And again, you might like to pause the video and hold this one for a little longer. And then gently bringing your legs down off your support, just either moving the support or yourself so you can have a little room to twist gently. So we keep the shoulder blades reaching towards the back waist so the chest feels wide. Bring the feet in, knees bent, so inside edges of your feet together, knees together. Lift your hips, swing them to the left. Let the knees fall towards the floor on the right. And if they don't reach all the way, put a blanket in underneath. Keep your left shoulder blade onto the floor and turn to look over that shoulder. Just letting your body lengthen. and ease. Squeeze your front core, pelvic floor to lift the legs. Come back to center. Good. And lifting your hips and swing them to the right. Keep that knees together, inside edges of the feet together, knees towards the floor. Keep your right shoulder blade onto the floor. Looking in that direction. Just let yourself fall into the floor. Good. Use your pelvic floor to lift the legs. Come back up to center. Hug your knees into your chest and rock a little bit from side to side. Rolling gently to your right side. Come up to sitting. Whatever position is comfortable for your legs. Remembering when you sit on the floor, if you have a little bit of support under your hips, so they're higher than your knees, it's easier to lift your spine. Find the shape of your spine, long. Feel the support of your front core lifting, your breastbone lifting, but your shoulder blades very relaxed, your neck very relaxed. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Take the feeling of the practice with you. Namaste.